I originally came onto God of War because the animators for the game actually found me on YouTube. That kind of went viral, and then the animators saw it, and then they called me up directly. My name's Eric Jacobus. I did the combat motion capture for Kratos in the new God of War. And this is how you fight like Kratos. I would describe Kratos' fighting style as one that's very direct, straightforward, and never stopping. We would never retreat in the game. He's the God of War. You'd never retreat as the God of War. You're always going to move forward. Every single move that I did had to have that full rage. When the team asked me to audition, instead of coming down to LA and auditioning in front of a committee, why don't I just go in my garage and do what I've been doing in these fighting games and just do a Kratos move list? I made a little move list for Kratos, where I do empty-handed combinations and I did the axe moves, Superman punches, Sparta kicks. We did a little bit of drop kicking. I had this training dummy that I beat up with the axe. It was kind of funny, you know? I put everything I had into it, you know, and I sent it over to them. Next thing I knew, they called me in to do a day of shooting.
Take two, Mark.
Motion capture plays such an important role because it allows the animators so much more movement to work with. When you capture the right movement, you don't have to pull the camera back into God's eye view anymore. You can bring the camera in. As a gamer, when you're playing a game and you're that close to the main character, you suspend disbelief so much more quickly when the character moves like a human. The body's a series of pulleys. You can't really fake it at a certain point, especially when it's so close to the camera. Because this is one of the coolest jobs a stuntman could ever ask for. I mean, coming in and playing the God of War himself, you know, and just doing axe moves all day, and yeah, it's exhausting, sure, it's 8 hours of work, but, you know, a stuntman's body is built for this stuff. We really thrive when we're able to do full body moves like this. I would say that this sort of is the stuntman's dream.
Pre-order and get 3 shield skins for in-game.
Just tell me when to shoot.
Making sure that Atreus wasn't a pain in your ass was a big part of this game.
Atreus needed to have some sort of ability or something he brought to the table that was different from Kratos. His ability to understand the language, right? In our world, the writing of the runes and the speaking of the runes are like the ignition for magic. Atreus' ability to understand this stuff allows him to have magical abilities that Kratos can't have.
The giants used to gather here to trade with the gods a long time ago.
The simplicity of the controls was imperative.
Should I fire?
Wait for my mark.
We did not want to be giving commands or have complex orders or anything like that. He is able to autonomously divide the battlefield just a little bit, so he's able to take attention, if you will, aggro in some games it's called, away from enemies. So if you have a large pack of enemies, you know, firing the arrows will get their attention.
We had to design like a suite of moves for him that he could do that can help melee with the bow and trip enemies and keep them at bay. You know, he's a little guy, so he can jump on an enemy and grab them from time to time. We didn't want people micromanaging the son. Again, we didn't want people to think of him as any kind of hindrance, anything that they really had to worry about. You can use him to your heart's content, whatever you would like to do, but if you don't do anything, he'll still do a lot of things.
There are certain circumstances that there are enemies that say, I'm going to target him. But if he gets into trouble, he's able to get himself out of trouble most of the time.
When you're in a fight with Atreus, it's like you definitely feel his presence. He feels like he's there with you every step of the way. You wanted to make sure that he always felt like somebody that was helping Kratos and benefiting you, and you never want to be without him.
Pre-order and get 3 shield skins for in-game.
PlayStation